This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Insurance.com. Auto, home, life, business, boat, motorcycle, Medicare products. They handle it all and do everything they can to save you money, because customer service means everything to the great people at Purdy Insurance. Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. The opening weekend is now officially over after the blowout by TCU last night over North Carolina. So all the games are now in the books. And now we move on to week number 2. By the way, high school football, how about Shikellamy off to a 2-0 start? Great job for them. Happy for Kevin and the Chief, because they've had to call a lot of tough games the last couple of years, but so far a great start, huh?
I was very worried about Kevin's heart on Friday, but he said he was fine. That was a late game touchdown.
Well, I'm sure Kevin thought he handled it well. Deep down. But, But, hey, look, good start. Good start. 2-0. Take 2-0 anytime, right?
It's better than last year's alternative.
Last year, to quote Dick Girardi, brutal. All right, Penn State got off to a good start on Saturday. Didn't, +3 giveaway, takeaway. Stayed away from mistakes. Remember the opener last year with West Virginia down there? In that game, the one area that I walked out and was uncomfortable with were the penalties. I mean, the penalties were the part that was like, geez, really? I was surprised by the number of penalties last year. This time, no. They stayed away from penalties. And that was, I mean, to their credit, that was really a poorly officiated game. Like, holy, can't even get the coin toss right? I mean, Jack and I were looking at each other, and we thought Jerome Bettis was officiating the game. It was just like, what are we doing here? It was ridiculous. I mean, they made that mistake. I mean, Penn State gets the ball, and Jack and I looked at each other like, James defers in this spot. That made no sense to us. And then you saw Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton run out. They're going to return the kick, and the Penn State sideline's like, what are you doing? We deferred. Oh. So it couldn't even get that right. The holding penalty on Drew Shelton was a bad call, but look, those things happen. But the one at the end, the one that James was so mad about, I mean, come on. They're holding them. That's why Penn State's not snapping the ball. They're being held up by the officials. And then they call them for delay of game. What are you doing? These guys were from the Mountain West, by the way. You've got to be kidding me. It was ridiculous.
I've seen that happen. I saw that happen a couple times last year, too.
And you're like, what are you doing? Just get out of the way. I mean, just get out of the way. And that's I've got a big problem with that.
Well, it's because they're letting them sub, correct? In theory?
Yeah, but it was the start of the series.
Oh, yeah, I guess it was.
It had nothing to do with anything. It's the start of the series. What are you doing? Look, and the replays were absurd. Okay? It's obvious that Singleton's deep is absolutely into the end zone. On the Katron Allen touchdown, the Nevada player, not through any fault of his own, is laying on the pylon, so you can't make that call. And they're doing replays. College football needs to do what the NFL does, and that is replay assist. Start doing replay assist where they just call down and say, hey, look, that's a touchdown. He was in. Just call down and say, hey, we've got that. It's a first down. Something. Instead, they're wasting all this time on obvious plays. I mean, I called the Singleton touchdown a touchdown right away because I could see who was in the end zone. Right? It was ridiculous. You're stopping the game. The fans don't need that. Nobody needs that. All right, we'll talk to Matt in a moment as we continue here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
A lot has changed since 1915 when the Mertz family began selling cars here in Central PA at Sunbury Motor Company. But one thing that hasn't changed is the Sunbury Motor Company's commitment to satisfying more customers, selling more cars, and providing you with a tradition of trust. Whether you visit Sunbury Motors Ford, Sunbury Motors Hyundai, or Sunbury Motors Kia, you know you're getting the area's best selection and best prices on both new and pre-owned vehicles. SMC's values of hard work and dedication are as prevalent today as they were over 100 years ago. They take pride in satisfying Central Pennsylvania's automotive needs and providing their customers with the best buying experience possible. Come visit Sunbury Motors Ford and Sunbury Motors Hyundai in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury, or Sunbury Motors Kia on the Strip in Hummel's Wharf. Sunbury Motor Company, owned and operated by the Mertz family since 1915.
Hi, this is Season. For over 100 years, the Purdy Insurance Agency has been protecting families and businesses of the greater Susquehanna Valley and beyond. With the experience of our trained and knowledgeable staff, you can rest assured that your needs will be evaluated and met by some of the industry's best representatives. No matter what your insurance needs are, call Purdy Insurance today at 570-286-5855. Visit our website at purdyinsurance.com or check us out on Facebook to see what we can do for you.
To purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, light, business, boat, motorcycle, RV. Medicare products, they do everything they can to save you money while making sure that you are fully insured. At Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury, go to purdyinsurance.com. We now go to a guy that has been watching Nationals and White Sox baseball for the past week, thus has no idea how the game should be played. Matt Catrillo.
I have lost a few brain cells during that time, so that is purely accurate, which makes Sunday's loss kind of bad, but you know what? At least mystery is made, so I didn't expect the Yankees to sweep the White Sox because they really can't sweep anybody this year other than whoever they swept a couple weeks ago. I forgot who it was off the top of my head, but bottom line is, those are not good baseball teams.
No, they are not. And the Yankees play each team 40 times. So it's just amazing how it's going.
Well, and it is, I guess that brings to my first point here when it comes to the Yankees' outlook right now. Everybody in Yankee land, New York media and the like, is all of a sudden all back on the bandwagon because the Yankees have taken advantage of these terrible teams and are back to 2 games behind the division when they of Toronto. Again, let's review who they've played. They should have won these games. Everything will come back down to earth this week when they get back to playing actually good baseball teams. You got Houston, Toronto, Boston, and Detroit. Talk to me after that. And trust me, I don't think you're going to be talking to me after that. So enjoy it while it lasts because it's going to end again this week.
You seem rather down on the group.
I'm just giving you my honest opinion like I do each and every week.
Just don't seem happy. All right. So you must be excited about Thursday night. The opener, Eagles Super Bowl champions, really had a drama-free training camp to their credit against the Cowboys, who lead the league in drama and now have no pass rush.
Exactly right. I literally tweeted out the other day, I hope Jerry Jones lives till he's 100, because as long as he's living on this earth, he's going to be in charge of things at the Dallas Cowboys, and therefore the Cowboys, as you said, will continue to lead the league in drama. So have at it. Keep at it, Jerry Jones. Here's to, what is he, 86, 87? Here's another good 15 years of health, because I love it. This guy is just comical.
Since 1996, the Cowboys are the only team in the NFC that have not played in the NFC Championship game. I don't think a lot of people realize that.
And guess what? The other team in their division, Washington, they at least had some company in that department, but not anymore after last year.
Yeah. So, yeah, but you must be excited about it. I mean, you know, the Eagles are back. Saquon's now a captain, elected by his teammates. I think that's pretty cool.
It is very cool, and not that I really care too much about this, but it's cool anyway. He was now the number one player of the NFL Top 100 from last year, so I thought that was kind of cool too. Not that I could care less at all about that, because I think that is also one of the many subjective lists that are out there now when it comes to the NFL. But it was still cool that he was number one, and he deserves all the accolades that he gets. And I think I don't think he's going to rush for 2,000 this year, but I think he's very capable of getting back to 1,500 to 1,700 yards, and I think if he gets to that total, I will consider that a really, really good follow-up from the year before.
Yeah, I think most people would. That's realistic. Any concerns about the squad for the season? I don't mean just the opener, but the season?
It's kind of like what I said last week. The depth of the defensive line, though, I think that's going to work out itself a little bit better than what people think, because I like some of the talent. I think they just need really just more playing time and getting accoladed. But my main concern is the secondary, as I talked about last week. It's probably going to be a Dory Jackson Thursday night, but how long is that going to last? I'd rather see Jacorian Bennett get in there and as he gets more comfortable. So we'll see how that goes. And whoever's opposite of Reed Blankenship in the secondary, looks like it's going to be Sidney Brown to start in base, or in nickel, I'm sorry, because Cooper DeJean's going to go to safety in base, then move back to nickel corner in nickel. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. Again, I think if Andrew Makuba had stayed healthy throughout a training camp, he probably would have won the job already. I think he's going to get that job eventually, but just a little bit later than we thought, considering the pretty good preseason he's had since he's got hurt, including the Browns game. But that's really my only two concerns about this team. The offense should be about as potent as it was last year, as long as they stay healthy. And then it really comes down to these two question marks on defense. If they end up being as good as they were, especially when you get to later on in the season, then there's no reason why they can't repeat this year. If not, then I think they can still make a deep playoff run, but I don't know if they get back to the Super Bowl. That's kind of how I see it. And as far as the regular season goes, as I said last week, I see 11 to 12 wins, but I think it might be another slow start because of all the question marks on defense. But we'll see. I definitely do think that one way or the other, it starts off with a win Thursday night against Dallas.
I realize the reason they made the acquisition of Sam Howell is because Tanner McKee, I think one of his fingers is banged up or something like that.
Correct, and looks like he's probably not going to be available week one. He didn't practice yesterday, so that's the biggest reason why. And also, too, I mean, the number 3 quarterback spot really didn't pan out the way the Eagles hoped. Kyle McCord showed his inexperience and why he was a 6th-round pick, and DTR is just washed up at this point. So the Eagles made the right move. Howie, all those 3 trades he made last week were exactly what was needed. They needed more depth in the offensive line. They needed to get a better option at the number 3 quarterback. So I thought Howie did a great job last week.
Well, I find out the players have to play. I wouldn't get home.
Going into it, at least.
I don't get too like, hey, how about that one until I actually see it. Sorry. It's just the way I am. As you know, I'm like, hey. I'm like, I don't know. Hey, what? They drafted the guy. Great. So, all right, let's watch him play. I'm more like, I would like to see some results before I grade the trade out. That's just
of course,
me.
and also too about how smart it was to get rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson too.
Haven't I taught you anything in this job?
Yeah, you have plenty. Absolutely. I'm just saying this is just my thoughts going in. I mean, this could all change, but we'll see what happens.
Is Green Bay now a threat to you?
No. And actually, that Micah Parsons trade could not have worked out any better for the Eagles than it did, because Green Bay's defense was already pretty good. And obviously, they're going to get better with Micah Parsons. There's no question about that. But I'm still not in love with Green Bay's offense. And guess what? This allows Green Bay and Detroit to beat up on each other some more, Minnesota too, and the Eagles don't have to deal with them only till late in November when they play them on Monday night. So I think in terms of the season and in terms of the grand scheme of things with the NFC this year, this could not have worked out better for the Eagles. Not that he would have gone to the Commanders, but any of the teams that I consider like real threats to the Eagles, both the NFC and the AFC, he didn't go to. So that's a big win for me.
I think anybody in the NFC Central is a threat to the Eagles, to be honest with you. I mean, I think any one of those three teams are. I think Detroit's a threat. They didn't play each other last year. Detroit's a threat. I think that Green Bay is now a threat. Love's better. Parsons makes them better defensively. I think that is a Reggie White type of acquisition by the Packers. I think that's very much a parallel to me. I think, without question, they're the ones that went for it and got better out of it.
Oh, I give them credit for it, and I think Detroit is probably the biggest threat to the Eagles out of the NFC. I think Detroit, the Rams, and the Commanders are the Eagles' biggest threats right now. That's kind of how I rely it as. I just need to see more from the Packers on offense and Jordan Love for me to go that far yet as a threat. But we'll see. I mean, it's not going to be an easy game one way or the other for the Eagles because it's on the road at Lambeau in November in prime time. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And by the way, congratulations to Aaron Judge for tying Yogi Berra for 5th on the all-time home run list with the Yankees. I looked at that and went, so what? I mean.
This is the only one where I will take historical significance because
who's fifth on the list? No. There's a lot of great.
I still want to see. Do I still want to see more production in October? Yeah, but I think that's still pretty significant.
Not really. Who's 5th on the all-time Dodgers home run list? Last I checked, that's a pretty storied franchise. Who's 5th on the all-time Giants home run list? It's a pretty storied franchise. Who's 5th on the Red Sox all-time home run list? It's a pretty storied franchise. Who cares? I mean, really, who cares? I mean, I saw that. I said, what? So what? We're just inventing stuff to put his name out there. And it's not his fault. He doesn't do it. He hits the home runs. That has nothing to do with him. I think the coverage of him is overblown. And I think I see stuff like that, and I just shake my head and go, come on. There are a lot of storied franchises. Who's 5th on the all-time Cincinnati Reds home run list?
I mean, that's true in the fact that, I couldn't tell you that either. But I think also, when it comes to the Yankees, it hadn't been done in 68 years, I think the number was there.
Who's 5th on the all-time home run list, right, for any team in Major League Baseball? It doesn't matter. And the other part is, what does Yogi Berra have, 12 championships, right? Well, Aaron Judge played for one and he dropped the ball.
That's fair. I mean, like if I had to compare the two, I think it's sometimes can be a little bit hard, different eras and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, if I had to choose between this and having 12 championships like Yogi, I would much rather have that. Absolutely. I think at this point, Yogi is still a better Yankee than Aaron Judge right now.
It's not his fault. It's not Aaron Judge's fault. It's the coverage of him. Where I sit back and go, what the heck? That's nice. So what? I mean, he didn't hit his 600th home run. He hit number 358.
I just think if he had done more in the postseason, I think we might look at this a little bit differently, but he hasn't.
No, I don't.
That's where we're at right now.
I don't. 358 is a nice number. It's terrific. But it's not as if number 358 hasn't been accomplished by a series of other guys in their lifetime. And nobody talks about them.
No, that's fair in that point. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm looking at it from a Yankee fan's perspective, and I see it hadn't been done in a while. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, he's got to be better in October.
No kidding. All right, got to get some hits, and you got to make some plays.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Brewers Outlet, Sunbury Motor Company, and Purdy Insurance. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
The biggest surprise to me is that actually Yogi Berra hit 358 home runs. That part did surprise me. I'm like, Berra hit 358 home runs? Really? Great career. Great player, winner. I was kind of surprised. Like, really? He hit that many? How about that? Not like he went out and hit 50 in a year. He didn't. But you see what I'm saying, Todd? It's like, because he did something, and like I know it's a storied franchise, but who's fifth on the Phillies in home runs? Would it be a headline if Schwarber were to reach that mark? Would it be a headline if Harper reached that mark? Nope. It's a different standard. At least in my opinion.
I wonder if part of it's Judge and the other part of it is just because it is the Yankees.
Part of it is the philosophy of a sports network where they latch onto a name and the name goes all the way through. Okay? And this has been their philosophy for 25 years. There are certain trigger names that they feel get views, clicks, and whatever. Okay? And that's what they do. I mean, that's what they've done forever. And I know people that work there that have freely told me that. Right? Okay. I mean, why do you think we hear about, and I say this with all due respect to these two young people, because they're trying to carve out their own lives, but why do we have to get headlines about Charlie Woods and Bronny James all the time? Because of their dads. Right? I mean, and that's because they think people will click onto it because that's LeBron's son and that's Tiger's son. And we get headlines about them, and there are all sorts of accomplishments all over the place out there that nobody ever talks about. Yeah.
I feel like somebody watched TCU in North Carolina last night and got his fill of Bill Belichick.
No, I you know what? I watched some of it. I didn't watch a lot of it. Right? But, I mean, the whole thing was about Belichick, obviously, last night. And it was like, okay. And it turned out TCU's pretty good. Look, here's the weekend, the way I looked at it. Penn State played well in the opener. Right? Awesome and incredible. No, I'm not saying, but they played well. They played a good, solid football game. They were +3 giveaway takeaway. They had too many penalties in the opening 2 games last year. That part was kept down this time through. I'd like to see, I mean, you got 4 field goals from Ryan Barker. That's really great because Barker kicked it well. But you'd like to see those finish in touchdowns. All right? But I want to give Nevada credit for something here. I think Nevada, in terms of how they decide to approach the game, gave them what the best shot of being competitive. Number one, They played a 3-deep zone. They didn't want Penn State to beat them with long plays down the field. So by playing a 3-deep zone, they took that part away. I mean, I realize that you have the there'll be football, there'll be people out there saying, "Oh, I'm concerned Penn State didn't take shots." I'm glad you're not coaching. Okay, I'm glad you're not coaching the game because you'd be throwing into what they want you to throw into. Number two, they then took the other guys and they stacked the box because they didn't want Singleton or Allen to beat them. And Penn State was smart, stayed patient, went with the stuff that moved the ball down the field and made a big difference. So that was number one, I thought very smart on Nevada's part. Then number two, they tried to shorten the game. The play clock when Nevada had the ball mostly was running underneath 7 seconds, usually under 5 seconds every time because they were trying to shorten the game. So from a strategic point of view, Nevada, their coaches, I thought, gave them the best chance of winning. Or not being winning. It gave them a better chance of being competitive by how they approached the game. The 3-deep zone, the stacking of the box, and trying to get that play clock to shorten the game. All right, now, Penn State's better. Aller had a good game. Receivers had a good game. The defense came up with plays when they needed them, getting 3 takeaways. Dennis Sutton had a huge game. Zane Durant had the interception. And it's a good start. Kickoff return by King Mack. Big play. So it's a good start. Now you need to be better this week. And that old adage of you make your most improvement between game 1 and game 2, I'll be honest with you, that really is an adage that you're looking for teams that are trying to achieve something big. Right? If you're worth your salt, you're going to be better between game 1 and game 2. Because now you have one under your belt and you have a bunch of video to look at as to what you didn't do and what you did do. And for Jim Knowles, he now has a lot of video as to what they did, how they handled it, and corrections he needs to make with them this week in his system. So that part's invaluable. So they got FIU this week, and FIU won on Friday night over Bethune-Cookman 42-9. The Texas-Ohio State game. What did I tell you last week, Todd? I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game, right?
Correct.
And the reason I said it was going to be a low-scoring game was why? Because you had 2 first-time starters at quarterback. Arch Manning had never started a road game before. Julian Sain had never started a game before. Okay. So that makes complete sense. The question was going to be which coach was going to blink first in the game. And it was Steve Sarkisian. This is a tight game. It's okay to run the ball. It's okay to take the ball out of your quarterback's hands sometimes. It's okay to put the game on your defense. Yet Sarkisian's the one that got impatient and blinked. And he started putting more on Arch Manning. And it was just a day where you can see he didn't really have it. That doesn't mean he's not going to be an excellent quarterback. That doesn't mean he won't achieve greatness. Nothing to do with that. On this particular day, he just didn't have it. He'll learn from it. That's fine. He's a very talented, smart guy. Okay, he'll learn from it. But I'll preface by saying this. I'm a believer in going for it on 4th down. I am. But it has to be the right time, the right place, the right situation, the right spot on the field, and time and score enters into the decision. He went for it 5 times in this game. He made 1. 5 times he went for it. Okay, your defense is playing really, really well. Okay? Your defense is giving you a yeoman's job, except for the 1 touchdown pass to Carnell Tate. Your defense has held up all day. It's okay to punt. Well, they ended up going 1 for 5 on 4th down. And I'm just like, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. It's okay to punt. It is okay to put your defense out there because they may get a takeaway. Or they may get you 3 and out, and you get to start from essentially the same spot, but you got a fresh set of downs to work with. And I just thought that, and the other part, too, is Arch Manning, if you watched him last year, he's more of an outside runner, not an inside zone runner. Okay? Clemson and LSU. I don't know, what did you think about Texas, Ohio State?
I didn't see it at all with Arch. I got the same feeling that I got when I was watching Quinn Ewers last year, where it just, like, the deep ball's not there.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's a function of, I don't know how windy it was. I don't know what he's seeing, but some of those deep balls, he was short. It wasn't like, and I think some of the stuff I was reading about that game is Ohio State played a lot of it in cover 2, and and that doesn't help you take shots down the field either. And I kind of agree with you on the fourth downs. I am more, I think I'm more aggressive, but I think I would have punted away on that last one, especially with that score. And from what both defenses lost, I was actually more impressed with both defenses than I was with both offenses.
Yes, and I thought, again, that's why I would have thrown a little bit more on my defense.
And that was a heck of a catch by Carnell Tate.
It was. No, it's a great catch by Tate. Look, sometimes guys make great plays. Tate's a really good player. We can talk all we want about Jeremiah Smith. Tate's a really good player, a really good compliment. Without question. The LSU-Clemson game. There are 2 parts to LSU I want to get to. One, what let down LSU last year, especially in the second halves of games, was their defense. Which then led to number 2. It then forced Garrett Nussmeier to take more chances last year to make up for it. You look at Saturday night's game, LSU's defense played well all night, and thus Garrett Nussmeier was allowed to play smarter football and not take as many chances. One works in hand with the other. Clemson was okay. Klubnik was okay. He didn't have a great game. But, that call on the touchdown catch where they said when he hit the ground, like, what the heck are we doing here?
My mouth was agape. Like the official in the booth and the announcers didn't even consider it could have been an incomplete pass.
Yeah, I don't.
He caught it. He crossed the plane of the goal line. He rolled over on the ground, and it came out and it juggled a little bit. Like, I thought the play was over as soon as the ball crossed the goal line.
Exactly. When he caught it in the end zone, he is now past the goal line. Right? He's got possession of it. The play's over. The play's over. Right? To me, what's the difference between a guy crossing, getting 1 foot into the end zone, the ball's over, and then spiking it? What's the difference? He lost possession of it there, didn't he? This what they're doing with this is just, to me, is beyond the pale of what football is. That's a common sense one. He caught it. He's in the end zone. Now he's just falling out of the end zone with complete possession of the ball. We're done. It's over. It's a touchdown. It's like you see stuff like that, and you know they're going in the wrong direction.
I don't know. Is he bailing out the guy at the goal line there? Because I feel like if you're standing right there, you should probably see that that's a touchdown.
Sure, of course it's a touchdown. Again, I go back to the Penn State game. Use what the NFL does. Replay assist. Those guys are all sitting up there. They're like 3 booths down from me. They can just tell you, Singleton scored. Don't worry about it. Overrule it. We got it. There's no need for them to bring the stupid little TV out there and have the referee with his headset on looking at it. Come on. You're wasting everybody's time. They should be using what the same system the NFL does with replay assist. I think it's made a big difference. And the college should be using because they have the technology to do it. Clemson, look, exactly what I said Friday still applies today. There was less risk. Oh, George Raveling passed away. Good man. Good man, George Raveling. Clemson had less risk going into the game than LSU. Why? They've got the ACC schedule in their back pocket. Their pathway of getting to the college football playoff really is the ACC and winning it. Now, it looks like Florida State's better. We'll find out how much better. Right? But that's still their pathway. They had less risk in the game than LSU. LSU needed that game because they have to navigate an SEC schedule. And having a win like that on the road is going to help them down the road. And Miami and Notre Dame. All right. Miami, Notre Dame. I don't understand what Mike Denbrock this, Mike Denbrock that. Mike Denbrock did a lousy job of calling that game, okay? I have a first-time starting quarterback, okay? Who in the first half, by the way, averaged 4 yards per attempt. Like it was 4.2 yards per attempt. I have Price and Jeremiah Love. It's okay to run the ball. Don't you think? Don't you think a running game helps out your quarterback? Run the ball a little bit more? Don't you think? I'm sitting there like going, what the heck is he doing? Right? Especially the first series. I mean, I knew the first play was going to be something short, whatever, and it's just one of those flanker screenplays, just so he could get one. But it's okay to run the ball. And then mix it in and then get a little more adventurous with your quarterback. Now, let me give C.J. Carlett credit. I thought the last quarter and a half, he showed he's got something to him. I thought watching Carr the last quarter and a half of that game on Sunday night, I said, you know what? This kid's got something to him. Now, Beck played well. The freshman receiver's terrific. Daniels made that phenomenal catch. It's not a good throw. Not a good throw. But a phenomenal catch by Daniels on that play for the touchdown. Because the Notre Dame guy sitting back there saying, I got it. It's going to be an interception. Oh, darn. How dare you do that? I had the ball. And this is where I give Mario Cristobal has had a reputation of not being on top of life in the fourth quarter of games. How about that? All right. This
well
time,
earned.
Yeah. But this time it was different. Do you notice what they did? They ran the ball more. He put the game on his defense because his defense was having a good night, and it made a big difference in the game. And, I think credit where credit's due to Mario Cristobal for that. Now, Florida State and Alabama. Let's start with the basics. I don't care about the quarterback. The whole thing, the headlines are about the quarterback because we have an extremely immature group that doesn't understand football that covers this stuff. They ran for over 200 yards. Now, the quarterback was part of that, by the way. But they ran for over 200 yards in this game. That means Florida State controlled the line of scrimmage. And I had people who watched the game. I did not see the game. I had people telling me that Alabama looked sluggish. Now, is that because Florida State was quicker and faster? Or was Alabama just playing sluggish and slow?
I don't think the effort level was there, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, there was some times there were, you watch some of those runs by Florida State that are 10, 12-yard runs, and the pursuit is not hustling, I would say. And that's just...
Yeah.
Just the way they looked was just wild to me.
But again, you run for 275 yards. When you've got a running game, it changes everything for you. And by the way, Castellanos is part of the running game because he did run and he ran well. So let's not take that away from him. But, I mean, this wasn't Doug Flutie out there. let's not like get confused here. He did a good job. He stayed away from mistakes, which is great. He made a couple nice pass plays, great. And he ran the ball well. But overall, the offensive line for Florida State, in fact, both fronts, their offensive front and their defensive front, won the game for them. If you're going to run for over 200 yards, you're going to put yourself in a great spot to win. And that's what Florida State did, to their credit.
That might have been the most surprising result of the weekend to me. Not that Florida State won, just Alabama was never in that game.
No, I mean, that's what it seemed like. Plus, people were telling me that Ty Simpson didn't have the greatest game. And remember, I think Kalen DeBoer brought Ryan Grubb with him. When Kalen DeBoer left Washington, I think Ryan Grubb went to the Seahawks.
Yeah, he was the Seahawks offensive coordinator.
Yeah. See, he had been Kalen DeBoer's right-hand guy, and then he took the Alabama job. Ryan Grubb took the Seahawks job, and now he's back with him. And obviously, they didn't get anything out of that. And for Alabama, that's one of those, like, whoa moments. I mean, they've now... trying to think.
I think it's 5 Power 4 losses now.
Yeah.
In 2 years.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah. So, and I don't know what you say. Let me say this about North Carolina. TCU, well coached, better team. Pretty simple.
I'm not sure I realized that quarterback was that good for them.
No, he is good. He got hurt last year. I mean, same thing with the South Florida quarterback. South Florida quarterback is really good. They beat Boise State the other night. And like 34-7.
Yeah.
Now, am I surprised by the result? Nope. Genty meant so much to them because, remember I talk about Michigan? What was the formula when they won the national championship? Get to the lead, run the ball, play defense. Well, Boise State wanted to get to the lead, run the ball, play defense, which means that if they fell behind in a game, what were the odds of Boise State coming from behind? Slim and none now, right? And now they have to rely on their quarterback to get things done. I watched enough video leading into the Fiesta Bowl, plus doing the Fiesta Bowl game. I can tell you, he's a good quarterback, but that's all he is a good quarterback. He's not good enough to bring a team back. I knew when Tyler Warren caught that touchdown pass in the third quarter, that my opinion was I felt Penn State was home free at that point because I just didn't think he was good enough to bring him back. That's just me. I mean, that's just my opinion.
I do wonder, we didn't hear a lot of those hear of a lot of those transfers that North Carolina got, and I just wonder, I'm not sure we're going to know for a couple weeks, but I just wonder if maybe they misread some of their guys in the transfer portal because they didn't look good at all last night.
No, they didn't. I mean, the only guy I know is Smith Vilbert, right?
Yeah. Where it was just one of those things where they were so gung-ho, but they didn't. I mean, Smith might be the only Power 4 guy they brought in. It was only like 2 or 3 I was reading.
Yeah. Now, the quarterback situation, I was glad to see Brad Johnson's son get into the game in the fourth quarter, and they got a touchdown out of it. I kind of wonder if they look at him more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just wonder how that leg injury was pretty nasty. I don't know how how bounced back he is all the way.
I mean, and again, they're around him every day.
You're listening to News Radio 1070 WKOK Sunbury. You can hear us